Hey everybody, this is Perch. I'll just go into this. You can speculate till the end of time about what this is referring to and everything else. This isn't like one of these secret nudge, nudge. I really mean this, but I'm saying this kind of crap. It's just about making comics. And so what I see is there's a lot of consternation about comics. And what's funny is whether you're on the indie scene, you're doing stuff kind of on your own, bootleg it, you're doing crowdfunding, you've got a huge YouTube channel, you wish you had a YouTube channel, you are in the mainstream. I took a trip to Japan recently and quite aggravating. By the way, I don't mean to call you it out. If you were one of the people who did this, I get it. It's okay. But I had 2 days where it was nonstop text messages and phone calls, and I finally had to put my phone on sleep because it's like, the other side of the planet, and I'm trying to get some rest, and people are calling, and they're calling about comics, and they're not calling about, hey, here's something exciting happening. They're calling about, hey, did you see what this stupid bitch did over here? Or this, can you believe this over here? Or this person is a giant anti-Semite over here, or whatever it happens to be. Lots of just the last 2 weeks, constant. And it is mainstream, it is indie, it is across the board. And if you've been following kind of the mainstream, you know what your topics are. Maybe you've been ignoring the indie world. If you've been following the indie YouTuber world, you're like, oh, I get this. There's this big beef between this guy and this guy. But it's going on everywhere. It's like everybody woke up pissed. I mean, legitimately, 2024 started out with just a bunch of people angry at each other and look at this crazy shit. And can you believe this person tweeted this? And I got to this point when I was in Japan. I went out, I looked at the water, and I go, I'm ready to just be done. Not done with comics. I love comics, but done with everybody in them because it just doesn't end. Anyway, so I posted this up, and it's very simple, and it's intentionally simple. Success in comics. Simple list. It's a checklist. How to be successful. Produce comics. Number one, you have to make them if you want to be successful in them. Number two, be on time with high quality. There's a bunch of like three-dimensional chess going on around, well, what is high quality and what is on time? And if you had to pick between on time and high quality, well, you definitely pick quality. The second you're in those conversations, like, well, if you have to pick between what? No, you don't have to pick between one or the other. To be very successful, you have to nail both. Sorry. It's kind of like saying, in order to be a functional adult, you have to both learn how to walk, talk, eat, and dress yourself. Not just but one of those is more important than the other. Nope, they're all important. You want to hold down a stable kind of life, you're going to have to figure out all of those things. You're going to have to figure out how to think, look, and drive at the same time. It's like, yeah, but what if you can't figure out how to look? It's like, then you're not going to be driving. Anyway, you got to be high. You got to be on time. You do. I mean, look, very, very few people can get away with having really, really high quality and then just being late as shit. But even the people who are late, as we saw from Image in the early 90s, Jim Lee, amazing artist, top of, in the early 90s, and still, Wildstorm Image suffered massively from delays. Rob Liefeld, a lot of these guys, the late comics, turns out even if you're absolutely at the top of your game, and quite frankly, nobody, and sorry to say, nobody in comics right now has the rock star level persona, attention, money, and selling ability of Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld back in the early 90s. We don't have that today. A lot of popular people, but nobody has that today, and it didn't work for them. So it's not going to work for anybody now. You have to be high quality. Yes, you also have to be on time simultaneously. You need to appreciate customers. Appreciate doesn't mean being a sycophant. Appreciate just means, being more or less nice. It doesn't mean taking a bunch of shit. I think a lot of people were, misunderstood this one as I get to treat, comic creators like absolute garbage, and they have to suck it up and take it and say, yes, sir, may I have another? That's not true either. If you treat somebody like trash, then you deserve to get ignored. Now, the comic creator shouldn't be, a nut job and harass and stalk you to the end of time. case in point, Dan Slott has done this bit where he will block people and then he'll spend months harassing them, invent sock puppets, go after them. He does this. And that is absurd. So, definitely if you get treated like crap as a creator, you don't have to sit there and take it, but you also can't enter into a blood feud for the next 6 months with it either. Anyway, you should appreciate your customers. You should also be good to non-customers, people who aren't customers. That doesn't mean, again, being a simp. You don't have to stand there and go, well, you could treat me like garbage and you're not buying my comic, but I still love and respect you and will lick your boots. No, of course not. But you absolutely should try to encourage your non-customers to, have a friendly relationship with you because it makes them customers later. And the next one, which is probably the most key one, which is kind of along the lines of me just going, you know what, I'm out while I was in Japan. 100% avoid drama. Avoid. It's poison. It can be funny. People like gossip. It's the classic, when I see The View, I don't watch that show, but every now and then somebody posts a clip of it. It always strikes me as like 4 gossipy women sitting around just talking bullshit. I know that's not what the show is, or, sort of, that's not what it is. But that's always what I think of when I see a lot of this, people who steer into drama. It's like, ooh, what's this person say over here? Just take care of your own crap. 100% avoid drama. Drama is a time killer. It is a morale killer. It makes your work worse. It makes you worse. 100% avoid drama. Okay? No gatekeeping. It's the next time on the list. This is mainstream and indie. You're not building a clubhouse. Okay? If people want to come in, they should be allowed to come in and make comics. Now, not necessarily with you. They don't need to make comics in your clubhouse, but you can't prevent them from making comics. That's the problem. People should be able to make comics, do comics. You shouldn't be calling up companies where they're trying to work and trying to interfere with their jobs. None of that. People who want to make comics need to be allowed to make comics. The end of story. And trying to keep them out or do weird purity tests over, this or that. You're too liberal, too conservative, too whatever it happens to be. No gatekeeping. And none of this bullshit, well, they did it, so we get to do it shit either. No gatekeeping, period. This, if anybody who has children, none of that, this kid can do it, so I can do it. No. And finally, no behind the scenes DM, night letter shit. None of this, that it goes along with the drama. Mind your own business. None of this like, hey, I don't know, but you said over here, and just stop. These seem like obvious things because they are obvious things. But you need to actually do these things. It's easy to talk this stuff, and a lot of people have. Over the last 10 years or so, people on the indie scene, people on Twitter, people who are in the mainstream, people who are pros, have listed off these same things. Lots of people can say it, but there's a difference between saying it and doing it. So there's an expression called walk the talk. Talk is cheap. Walk the talk. Do actually what you say you're going to do. If this is what you're going to do it. Which gets to kind of the last kind of point in all this. There's another phrase I really love, and I've used it before on this channel, and it's called make the main thing the main thing. And again, this seems obvious. But it's very easy to get confused with 50 other things. It's very easy, it's the road to good intentions is paved with a lot of crap. But make the main thing the main thing. What is the main thing? If you want to make comics, the main thing is making comics. If you want to make comics, you need to make comics. The main thing is comics. Make the main thing the main thing. If you want to make comics, the main thing is to make comics. Make the main thing the main thing. Make comics. The main thing is not gossip. It's not gatekeeping. It's not childish high school bullshit. Just that. If you make comics, and if you keep pursuing that dream, and if you keep pushing, and you keep all the rest, you will be successful. Maybe because you're talented, hopefully so, but also, unfortunately, because a lot of other people utterly fail at making the main thing the main thing. Those people are not your competition. They're going to blow themselves up. That's potentially good news for you. Anyway, there you go. Make the main thing the main thing. Walk the talk. Make comics. Thanks for listening.